Today, NCAA 24 is predicting my March Madness bracket. As you can see, we have every single game in the bracket here, and we're going to be simulating every single one of these in Madden until we have one team standing. We're starting with UConn taking on Stenson, and since neither of these teams are in Madden, we're going to have UConn represented by Michigan and Marshall representing Stenson. We'll go ahead and jump to the end of the game, and let's see who starts out the scoring first. It's going to be Michigan with a touchdown, and now they're going to make it a 2-possession lead, a 3-possession lead, 17-0. Marshall's finally going to get on the board at the start of the second half, though, but I do not think that Marshall is going to be able to hang on. Michigan dominates Marshall, and just like that, UConn is moving on to the next round. So now our next team is going to be Northwestern and FAU. And FAU isn't in Madden, so Penn State is going to be filling in for them. Penn State goes up 2 possessions. It's 13-0, 21-0. It looks like FAU might come back. Nah. So FAU ended up getting it done. Wasn't really that close of a game. Whenever we do have close games, we will actually hop into the action to see if they can complete a comeback. But FAU moves on to the next round. Let's go ahead and get into our third game, which is going to be San Diego State versus UAB. Once again, both of these teams aren't currently in Madden, so we're going to have San Diego State being represented by UCLA just because they're both from California, and then we're going to have UAB represented by Central Florida. A very defensive-minded game. UCF starts out the scoring, but UCLA answers with a touchdown. They answer with another touchdown. San Diego State gonna make it a 2-possession game, and it's all over. San Diego State is staying alive in this March Madness tournament. Moving on, our next game is between 4th seed Auburn and 13th seed Yale. Now, Yale isn't in Madden, so instead, we're gonna be sliding Stanford in this position. Let's see what happens. Auburn does have home field advantage, and they got the overall advantage, so in my opinion, I think that they take the cake here. They are gonna be starting out on defense, which is really good in Madden, if you guys didn't know. But let's go ahead and jump forward to the end of the game to see who Madden thinks moves on to the round of 32. We're going to have Stanford opening up the scoring with a touchdown, and they're going to make this thing a 2-possession game. At halftime, they're up 21-0. Are we going to see our first upset of March Madness? Auburn is trying to make a comeback, but Stanford keeps on adding on points. It's 24-14, and that is going to be your final score. We see our first upset. Auburn falls. That's crazy. Auburn losing round 1, but the professionals do say that you need at least 1 upset, so I guess Yale's the team to do it. And next up, we have BYU and Duquesne. BYU is in the game, but Duquesne is going to be represented by Pitt. All right, so it looks like Duquesne is kicking off the ball to start, so BYU better start things out hot. We're seeing who moves on to the round of 32. Duquesne is going to start out the scoring. BYU is going to answer with a touchdown. It looks like we got a pretty close game, 14-3, 21-3 at half. BYU is starting to pull away. Pitt can only manage another field goal, and it looks like this game is just simply over. But wait, Pitt has hope, except BYU pulls off the touchdown, and BYU holds on. Duquesne gets knocked out in the round of 64. BYU moving on. Honestly, I could see Duquesne winning that in real life. It's Duquesne? Nah, it's Duquesne. Come on. That spells Duquesne. Come on. All right, our next game is Illinois and Morehead State. And for Morehead State, we're having them being represented by Maryland. So basically, it's Illinois versus Maryland. Illinois is the higher seeding, so they're going to get home field advantage. It looks like Illinois is going to start out the scoring with a touchdown, but these are close overalls. Morehead State answers with a touchdown of themselves, and they take the lead going into the half. It's 10-7. Now it's 14-7 Illinois, 17-14 Morehead State. I got to remember that. We're actually going to jump in here. Morehead State is attempting a upset right now. They have 43 seconds, only 2 timeouts, and it's 1st and 10 from their own 35. They got a long way to go, but honestly, they only need a field goal. They're going to start out going short. They got to use their second timeout. 39 seconds left, 2nd and 6. They probably need about 20 more yards in order to get into field goal range. We'll see what they can end up doing. It's not Morehead State in the actual NCAA tournament. It is, guys. And that really hurts them. It's 3rd and 2 now. He gets tackled inbounds, though, so the clock keeps on ticking. If you want to make anything happen, you got to go deep. 17 seconds. They need 17 yards to be in a field goal range, and they're going to go with a screen. He got really lucky there. I don't know if I like that play calling, but there's only 10 seconds left. They're on their 47-yard line. They need to make something happen if they want to be able to upset Illinois, and they're actually going to call their last time out with 8 seconds left. I don't know why you don't do that right away, but they lose 2 seconds, and now they have to get a first down or get out of bounds. They got to get to that. I'd say probably just a first down, and they'd be in field goal range. We'll see what they end up doing. They're going to go deep, though, and he is going to launch it, and that almost gets picked off. So now there's 2 seconds left. They're going to have to go for the Hail Mary. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off this upset. I think Illinois might be able to hold on here, but this was a very close game. All right, here we go. We got the Hail Mary. He's actually just going to take a sack. That was really lame. But Morehead State gets knocked out, and Illinois moves on to the round of 32. That's so annoying. I really wanted an upset that we could actually watch, but Illinois moves on. So now we're going to have BYU facing Illinois. But our next team is Washington State and Drake. Washington State is in the game, but Drake is going to be represented by Iowa. So we're going to see Iowa or Drake start out the scoring, but Washington State is going to answer. They're going to double that. Now it's a 2-possession game, 21-7, 28-7. And it looks like Drake can't get it done, even though Drake was represented by a higher overall. They are not going to be able to take down Washington State, and Washington State moves on to the round of 32. I'm really surprised about that. That's an upset in Madden. It isn't an upset in our actual bracket, but Drake falls. I let Drake beat Iowa too. That's crazy. All right, but our next teams are going to be Iowa State and South Dakota State. Iowa State is in the game, but South Dakota State is going to be represented by UNLV. UNLV is going to be the underdog if they move on because they are the lowest rated team in this mod. So Iowa State coming in at a 76 overall, but then we have to scroll all the way down to UNLV, and they're like a 60 something. So I really don't expect much from them, but wouldn't it be crazy if they moved on? This is a very defensive-minded game. We're going to go ahead and jump into the action and actually watch this one because if UNLV or South Dakota State can go ahead and score, then they could really put this game away. They're starting on Iowa State's 31-yard line. These are pretty similar jerseys, but they are going to run this read option, going to end up handing it off to the halfback, and now it's 2nd and 9. Iowa State has to waste their second timeout. They only have one more left, and they really need to stop if they want to stay in this game. If South Dakota State kicks a field goal, then that's fine. But they're just going to continue to run this clock out, and Iowa State wastes their final timeout. So now it's 3rd and 9. If they can get a stop here and force a field goal, they're in a pretty good position, but that clock is going to be ticking. And just like that, we have our second upset in the tournament. Down goes Iowa State, and South Dakota State moves on to the next round. Well, listen, here it is. South Dakota State, a 15 seed, takes down a number 2 seed. That's crazy. And now we finally get to see North Carolina play. And since neither of these playing teams are in Madden, we're just going to have Ball State represent them. UNC has that baby blue home field advantage. They're taking on Ball State being a 16 overall. What do y'all think's going to happen? Is Ball State going to pull off the upset to the 1 seed? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen, but Madden might have a different story. We're going to jump forward to the end of the game. Hopefully it's a close one, an interesting one. Ball State starting out the scoring was 7. And they're actually going to make it 14-0. UNC's got to do something quick because Ball State is up 23-0. No shot UNC falls in the first round. I guess it's not UNC's year. Ball State 26-7. What is Madden talking about? Who knows? Are we going to see an upset in the first round? That's the biggest upset ever. And that's what's going into my bracket, I guess. Well, I thought that this might be a realistic bracket that we make with Madden, but having North Carolina lose in the round of 64 is insane. I don't think that's even possible, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe North Carolina is just going to lose in the first round. That's just Madden logic right there, because that's a 67 overall taking on an 82, and they say that 82 loses. I don't know about that one, but we're going to have Mississippi State taking on MSU for our next matchup, so maybe the Madden sim will be more realistic here. We're going to see Michigan State start out the scoring with a touchdown. Mississippi State has the opportunity to answer, but both teams just end up punting it away. Mississippi State's finally going to answer as the clock ticks down in the first half. They make it 14-10, but MSU takes back the lead. It's a tied game now, and we are going to jump into the action. 17-17, Mississippi State now has the ball on their own 14-yard line. This clock is ticking down, but all they need is a field goal to win. All right, so Mississippi State is actually going to punt this ball, and it looks like MSU is going to have great starting field position. We'll go ahead and see where they actually take over, and it's going to be right around the 50-yard line. Then he fumbled. No shot, he fumbled. Who came away with that ball? Is it Mississippi State? Oh my. MSU had a shot, but their punt returner is going to fumble on the 50. And now Mississippi State only needs 10 yards to make something happen. Their offense goes right back out there. And let's see what they can do now. Gonna end up throwing it, and now they're in field goal range. They just need to wind down this clock, waste MSU's timeouts, and they'll be smooth sailing into the next round. We'll see what they end up doing. I still keep this ball on the ground, though, which they do, and they pick up the first down and more. He might actually try to go score there. And now MSU is going to waste their last timeout. I'd go into field goal formation, or I'd go into victory formation, knee this ball, and then kick your field goal to go on to the next round. But they're going to actually run it. And I would love to see Mississippi State score too quickly. I think that would be the funniest thing ever. Give MSU a shot, because that is just bad play calling by the Madden CPU. Here we go. Is the kicker going to clutch up? You got to make this. This is basically like an extra point, and he does. So Mississippi State moves on to the round of 32. There we go. They actually played that pretty well. I really thought that they were going to mess up and score way too soon. But Mississippi State moves on, and our next matchup is once again between two representatives. In the actual tournament, we have St. Mary's taking on Grand Canyon, but in the Madden Sim, we're gonna have St. Mary's being represented by FSU and Grand Canyon being represented by Louisville. So essentially, we have a rematch of the ACC's championship, and I figured the UFSU fans would be fine being ranked 5th in this tournament, so please don't sue me. FSU is gonna start off the scoring. They're gonna double that scoring, and they probably are doing better than the actual ACC. It's 21-0. Not a really interesting game. Louisville finally answers, though, and we actually do have a game. I spoke too soon. It's still a 2-possession game, and FSU is going to put it away. Would have been so nice to see FSU get knocked out early. But St. Mary's moves on, and now we got Alabama and Charleston. And Charleston is actually going to get represented by SMU. I think Alabama's got to take the cake. They got the overall advantage. They also have home field advantage. I really don't see SMU pulling off an upset. But the last time I said that, Auburn lost. Alabama's going to start out the scoring with a field goal, and SMU takes the lead. Of course, this is how it goes. Bama finally answers. This game is tied 10-10. Now it's 17-10. Bama does finally get things going on offense. 24-10. Now it's going to be 31-10. And luckily, this game was not an upset. I would have hated to be wrong 2 times in a row, but I think I know Madden. Alabama's dominant in football. Alabama's going to win this game, and Alabama moves on to the round of 32. We got Alabama moving on. And now we got Clemson and New Mexico. So Clemson is actually in the Madden simulation, but New Mexico isn't, so they're going to be represented by Boston College. But we'll see if they can take down Clemson. Clemson is one of those teams that is great in a Madden simulation, so we'll see if Clemson can move on, or if we're going to see New Mexico take down a big stud in basketball. I don't know if Clemson's good at basketball. We're going to see Clemson open up the scoring with a field goal. Boston College matches that with a touchdown and a field goal of their own. Clemson finally does answer to tie things up going into halftime. And we are going to see a very defensive-minded game. We are going to jump into the action here. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's tied 10-10, but Clemson is in Boston College territory, threatening to score. It's 2nd and 12. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. What's going to happen? You got to hike the ball at some point. He's just going to go ahead and run play action, and he's going to pick up the first down. Great throw, great play, and now they are in the red zone. 12 more yards to go, and Clemson could shut down this game. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. He's going to go ahead and throw a pick in the end zone. Boston College has hope. That's insane. This player already has 2 interceptions against Cade Klubnik. All you had to do was drain down the clock and kick a field goal, but he gets too aggressive in the end zone, and it's an easy pick for Boston College. Let's see if Boston College can now drive down and put things away. Boston College has got to go pretty far, but they do have all 3 timeouts. Gonna take the snap, and they're already down to the 44-yard line after 1 play. They could easily just kick a field goal and end Clemson in this tournament. I think Clemson's like an 8 seed in the real-life tournament, but they're pretty high overall in Madden, so I'm kind of surprised with this result. But there we go. That is going to go all the way for Boston College. So 2 plays after the pick in the red zone. Boston College goes up a touchdown, but they could have scored too quickly. Clemson does get another opportunity to drive down and possibly tie up the game, force it into overtime. But if they don't, that is a big-time play by George Takacs. I don't know how to pronounce it. All right, Cade Klubnik, you better not throw another pick. It's 3rd and 1. He's got to go deep, and he is going to find his man, pushing them into field goal range, but they don't win it with a field goal. They're going to waste their first time out, and now they have 37 more yards to go for that touchdown. What is Cade Klubnik going to be able to do? He's going to heave one deep, and it's a perfectly thrown ball down to the 4-yard line. This is a game. Boston College is just selling right now. This is like 3 plays in, and Clemson is already threatening to score a touchdown. Cade Klubnik is going to take the ball back, and he's going to overthrow his receiver. He already has 2 interceptions, one of those being in the end zone for that last drive. But you have 28 seconds. I'd probably run the football here. He's going to find Will Shipley, but it's not fast enough. Shipley gets down to the 2-yard line, and now it's 3rd and goal. What do you guys do here? This is another Seahawks situation, Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl situation. Do you end up going for the pass, or would you just punch it in if you had Will Shipley? Personally, I'm probably looking towards Will Shipley, just running this thing down the middle, diving over the pile, but we'll see what Cade Klubnik decides. And they go for a pass, and it's going to be incomplete. Now it's 4th and goal. You got to go for it again. Obviously, it all comes down to this. They score the touchdown, they're chilling. It goes into overtime, but if they don't, Boston College just won this game. Let's see what Clemson decides to do. Cade Klubnik is going to end up passing to Bo Collins, and it's going to be a touchdown, so it looks like we might have overtime for the first time in our March Madness bracket. So this is supposed to be a game between New Mexico and Clemson. And honestly, that shouldn't be this close of a game. The fact that they're going into overtime is so crazy. And we'll see if Clemson actually does fall to New Mexico. Boston College is representing them. Clemson's going to drop back on play action, and they are going to just go short. Just basically out of bounds. Will Shipley is going to take the snap. He jukes out one player, and Will Shipley gets him down to the 10-yard line. What a juke. Cade Klubnik drops back. Nobody is open, and Boston College is going to get the sack. So now it's 4th and goal. Are they going to go for the touchdown, or do they just kick the field goal to apply some pressure to Boston College? Honestly, if it was me, you got to go for the touchdown here. You cannot give Boston College the opportunity to drive down and score a touchdown. They're going to go for the field goal. It is what it is, but I think I'd go for a touchdown here. They're going to go ahead and drill it. So now Boston College either needs to score a field goal, or they score a touchdown and it's over. All right, 3rd and 6. Castellanos goes and has a wide open man, but he overthrows him. Clemson just got so lucky. That should have been game. Boston College takes the kick, and it is going to be good. So we're going into double OT to try to crown the winner of this game. Boston College is going to still be on offense, and they are going to be able to score a touchdown. What a great throw for Castellanos. The man was barely beating the defender, but Takas is going to get another touchdown this game. So Boston College does have to go for 2 with the overtime rules, and they're just going to run this ball, and they're going to get it. So now Clemson's got to clutch up 2 times. Cade Klubnik going to take the pass, and it looks like they're going to get a big chunk going down to the 9-yard line, but this is Clemson's struggle area. Whenever they've been able to get into the red zone, Cade Klubnik has thrown a pick, and then they were able to only get a field goal in the first overtime. Cade Klubnik is going to deliver a touchdown, so now it comes down to the 2-point conversion. Are we going to have another round of overtime, or is Clemson going to choke? Let's go ahead and see. They're going to throw it short, and Will Shipley's going to get stopped. New Mexico is going to upset Clemson because Boston College is like that in Madden 24. So that was a massive upset in terms of Madden, but Clemson is now done in March Madness, and next up, we've got Baylor taking on Colgate. Now, I know Colgate's over in New York, but for the sake of seeding, we're going to just have Wyoming represent them. We'll go ahead and jump forward to the end of the game because I want Madden to have all the power. I know some people are asking why I don't actually play the games, but that kind of ruins it because I feel like I'm pretty decent at Madden, so then I can kind of skew the results. This is me hands off. I'm just commentating for you guys, but let's go ahead and see. It looks like Baylor's going to start out the scoring with a field goal. Wyoming's going to answer with a touchdown. Baylor gets a touchdown of their own. Wyoming gets a field goal of their own. 13-10, 13-13. This is a pretty close game. Wyoming is really holding their own. Baylor does end up getting the touchdown, but Wyoming answers, and now we'll go ahead and jump in. We might have another overtime game in our hands here. Baylor's going to actually punt this ball away to Wyoming, so now Wyoming has 3 minutes to essentially go 80 yards. They can score a touchdown, or they could drain the clock and just kick the field goal and call it a day. All right, Wyoming starting things off. Gonna get hit as he throws, so it's 2nd and 10 now. Let's see what Peasley can do. He's been perfect all day. No interceptions. Hopefully that's not a jinx or anything. But let's see if he can drive down and really cement himself in this tournament. Upload the video on Thursday, and I want to have a day to edit. And I literally jinxed it. That on the very next play, Baylor gets a pick. I am so sorry if you are a Wyoming fan or if you're a Colgate fan, because I legitimately just announced the pick and I said that he was perfect all day. And Chateau Reed gonna come up clutch with a pick. A terrible throw. I don't know what decision Peasley was making there, but Reed just sees it the whole way. Baylor gets an opportunity. They drop back, and on the very first possession, they're going to go ahead and score. All right, Wyoming's going to take this kick from their own end zone. And what is it with the fumbles today? Wyoming's going to fumble, and Baylor can put this game away now. Wyoming's going to challenge, so maybe it does get called back. But what is going on? It looks like he was down, unless the Baylor player held him up. We'll go ahead and take another look at this. I don't know. That's so close. But it is actually going to get overturned. So Wyoming still does have a chance. They're just trying to sell you got to hold on to the football if you're the return man, or just don't return it. Yo, Ronnie, how's it going? Jets, Jets. Peasley, what are you doing? That's 2 picks now for him, and this one results in a pick 6. Peasley, you are selling in the biggest tournament of March. I don't know what he's doing, but it looks like Baylor's going to take this game now. What a shame. What a shame. Peasley just hates Colgate. That's what we learned. Baylor moves on, and now we got Dayton and Nevada. Both of these teams aren't in Madden, so we're going to have to go find teams to represent them. So representing Dayton, we have Ohio State. Dayton's in Ohio, and since Ohio State didn't make the actual tournament, a 7 seed is being represented by a 93 overall. Nevada wasn't that lucky. They're being represented by Air Force, who's a 73 overall, so honestly, I think Dayton should have a very far run in this tournament, and that starts by taking down Nevada. Let's see what happens. Air Force is going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. Are we going to see another upset? How crazy would that be? Ohio State matches their touchdown. Air Force, you got to do something. I would love to see Air Force come up clutch here. Ohio State is going to score the next touchdown. They're making it a 2-possession game, a 3-possession game now, and it looks like it's all over for Air Force. Dayton moves on like I expected. Down goes Nevada. Dayton moves on, and now we got Arizona and Long Beach State. Long Beach State is being represented by Cal Berkeley, and Arizona's in here. So whoever was asking for Arizona, here you go. Long Beach is being represented by Cal Berkeley. Arizona is going to start out the scoring. Arizona is one of those dominant teams in football, but Cal Berkeley ties it up 7-7. Arizona gets their field goal. It's 10-7 now. Cal Berkeley. Oh no, Arizona scores again. It's now 21-7. Cal Berkeley doesn't really stand a chance. It's 14-21. So actually it could be something, but it's too little, too late. Arizona stays alive and moves on to the round of 32. Obviously, I don't think that in real life, Long Beach would have won this game, but they move on and they're going to be playing Ohio State next. So we could have an upset. Ohio State is representing Dayton. So it could be Dayton, Arizona. I could see that being an upset, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have Houston and Longwood. Longwood is actually represented by Navy, and Navy's got a pretty interesting football team. We'll see if they can take down Houston. I think it's a pretty good matchup just because Navy isn't crazy good. They're actually a 74 overall, so they aren't on higher overall, but this is very close between a 1 seed and a 16 seed. Houston just isn't known for football, but we'll see if they can hold on against Navy and see if Longwood actually gets one of the biggest upsets. I don't think that it's going to happen. I think every single 1 seed has always progressed through the first round, but of course we did have UNC lose earlier, so you never know. Houston doesn't score on their first possession, and that means Navy's getting the ball at half. Houston does end up starting out our scoring. It's 7-0. And now it's going still 7-0. They don't end up scoring. This is a very defensive game. And we are going to see Navy put a little bit of points on the board. It's 7-3 now, a very defensive-minded game. Houston's on the field, so let's jump into the action. They're on the 32-yard line. Both teams still have all 3 timeouts, and there's 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock, but that time is ticking down. Let's see if Houston can put this away by scoring a touchdown, making it a 2-possession game, because at that point, I don't see Navy coming back. And I don't see Longwood winning in real life, so we'll have to see what happens. It looks like Houston is going to keep the ball on the ground, and they're going to keep on running out this clock. They don't even need to kick the field goal. This one should be over. Houston moves on, and my bracket stays kind of realistic. Moving on to our next game, both teams are in Madden, so we're gonna have Nebraska taking on Texas A&M at home. Let's see what ends up happening in this round of 64 game. Texas A&M is gonna start out the scoring with a touchdown. Nebraska is gonna match that touchdown. Texas A&M touchdown. Nebraska field goal. 14-10 now. Now it's 17-10. Texas A&M gets a field goal of their own, but they're gonna just keep on piling on the scoring. It's 24-17. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the action. 1 second left, 4th and 10. It's all gonna come down to this one last play. Nebraska's got to score a touchdown. Nebraska taking the snap. You got to go to the end zone. He's gonna find a man. And this one, he bats it up, and it's basically a tip drill, gets the pick, solidifies their spot in the round of 32. But Nebraska is going to follow to Texas A&M, and next up we got Wisconsin and JMU. I don't think that JMU's that good in this Madden mod, so I got Wisconsin taking this one as well. They're an 85 overall. They can't choke, right? It looks like JMU is going to be starting on offense. They can't do anything with their first drive. Wisconsin is going to start out the scoring. They're going to double their scoring with 2 touchdowns. JMU gets a safety plus a touchdown, so now it's 14-9. We might get a scoregami in this one, 21-9. It looks like Wisconsin is just gonna power through. JMU now might have a chance, but no. Wisconsin takes this one 34-23, and Wisconsin goes through, and now we got Duke and Vermont. And Vermont is one of those teams that we got to have somebody else represent them for, and the team representing Vermont is going to be Rutgers. At halftime, we're looking at 7-3 score. Rutgers does manage to kick a field goal, and Rutgers now gets a touchdown and takes the lead. Duke ties it up, and they just went and scored, so we're going to jump into the action. As this time ticks down, Rutgers has the opportunity. They're representing Vermont, and right now it doesn't look like Vermont's too happy with them. They're losing, and they go with a screen, and you should know Madden screens are always buggy. You don't be running them on 3rd down. Now it's 4th and 16, and are they going to punt this? No shot you're punting this away. No shot you punt this ball away when you need a touchdown. I mean, I understand that you have all 3 timeouts, but you do not have the overall advantage. That's right. Yeah, they're going to go for it. 4th and 16. This is basically the game on the line. If Duke can get a stop, they're going to move on. And he's going deep, and it's just going to get batted down. Duke survives, and now we got Texas Tech and NC State. I think Texas Tech is winning the actual tournament. That's my hot take for the actual NCAA men's tournament. Texas Tech is going to be your underdog victors. I called San Diego State last year. I was in like the top 100 of brackets, so now I want Texas Tech to win it all. But it's Texas Tech, NC State, then we got Kentucky versus Oakland, and then Colorado is going to be Florida, Cannon. So 3 games. All right, let's go ahead and see who Madden predicts is going to win this game. I got Texas Tech in real life. Texas Tech, get it done. They are going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. That's what we like to see. And now they just got to drive. They just got to drive down. They're going to score one more time. It's 14-3 now going into the half. After halftime, NC State is going to answer with a touchdown and a safety, and now it's a tied game, 14-14. And now let's watch Texas Tech start to drive. They got 2 timeouts left. The clock is ticking down, 40 seconds left. They're on their own 26-yard line. We might have an overtime game here. Now it's 16 seconds. I feel like Texas Tech should have gone quickly or at least use their timeout, but they do only need a field goal. So only like 40 more yards, and they'll be good, but it doesn't look like they know how to snap a football. Nope, they don't. So I guess we're going into overtime. That's a crazy call. You have 2 timeouts, and now you're going to... Bro, you hit your receiver there. That's a touchdown. But we're going into overtime. Texas Tech wanted to make things interesting. This is a pretty solid game. All right, NC State's going to decide to run the football at the start. They get 3 yards, 3rd and 7. You got to make something happen, or else you're going to have to settle for a field goal. You drop back to pass, and you are going to actually get this one batted down. So it looks like NC State's going to have to kick a field goal, and that opens the door for Texas Tech. NC State is going to drill the kick, so there's a bit of pressure on Texas Tech, but if they can kick a touchdown, then they're going to, or if they can kick a touchdown, if they can score a touchdown, then they're going to move on to the round of 32. And he's going to run, and he's going to break free. Texas Tech dives into the end zone. Texas Tech moves on to the round of 32. That's my champion right there, getting it done. But now we have to see who they're going to be facing in the round of 32, and that's going to be the winner of Kentucky and Oakland. And y'all should have seen this one coming, but Oakland is just not big enough to be in our Madden sim just yet. So we're going to have them represented by Central Michigan. We'll go ahead and see what happens. University of Kentucky is starting out the scoring with a touchdown, then a field goal. And Central Michigan is finally going to get on the board with a field goal. Another field goal, but going into the half, it's going to be 13-6. Can Central Michigan maybe make something happen? It's now 12-13. This is a pretty close game. Kentucky is going to score, and now they're making it a 2-possession game, which pushes Central Michigan just too far behind to make anything happen. So Kentucky moves on to our next round. Kentucky moves on, and now we got Florida versus Colorado. So for the play-in games, I went ahead and just filled them with, if the team was already in Madden, then I did that. I don't even know who, I think that's Boise State. Is that the team that Colorado is going to be playing tonight? But it's basically Florida versus Colorado because Boise State isn't even in Madden. Can Colorado come up with the upset against Florida? I think Florida's got it. I think Colorado's one of the most hyped up teams, and I don't think that they deserve the hype, but we'll go ahead and see. Colorado is starting out on offense. They can't do anything. University of Florida is going to be the first team on the board. They can't make it a 2-possession game. Colorado is going to match that. It's now 14-7. University of Florida 21-7. University of Florida just needs to keep on piling on. Florida 28-7. Colorado trying to make a comeback. It's too little, too late. Florida moves on. Colorado, Travis Hunter, Shador Sandwards, Dylan Edwards. Bye-bye. And now we got Marquette and Western Kentucky. Marquette is going to be represented by Georgia, and Western Kentucky is going to be represented by Western Michigan. Georgia, are you going to open up the scoring? They are with a touchdown. They're going to double that, triple that, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Georgia 30-0 at the start of the second half. Western Michigan doesn't even have a chance. Western Kentucky wishes that somebody else represented them, but Marquette is lucky because they have Georgia on their side, and they move on to the round of 32. Next up, we got Purdue versus the 16 seed of the play-in game, and for that game, I decided that ECU should represent them. So it's going to be ECU versus Purdue. Who do you guys got? Purdue takes this one. I don't see this being an upset. I really hope that the bracket doesn't predict an upset either, because Purdue is not losing in the first round. Purdue's going to be starting out on offense, and they're going to start off with a run. You should have been able to do this earlier. First play, touchdown. And that puts the pressure on ECU, the winner of the play-in game. Going to drop back to pass. What is Purdue's defense going to do? And that is a terrible drop back. It's 2nd and 27 from their 42-yard line now. ECU drops back to pass. You got to go deep, and he's going to take another sack. So now it all comes down to the 4th and 36 from the 49-yard line in overtime. This is how this game should have gone down. It shouldn't have gone to OT in the first place. Purdue is going to move on more than likely, but we'll see. They got to go for a Hail Mary. So where are you now? You're in South Carolina now? And they go for a screen pass, but there's a flag. Just wait. There's a flag. Roughing the passer. No shot. Purdue sold that badly. Madden loves this. They want to keep on giving them an opportunity. That's crazy. That's crazy. I should end it right there because that's some Madden cheese, but roughing the passer on a screen call on 4th and 46. All right, ECU drops back to pass, and we're going to get another sack. That's like their 3rd sack in this overtime. It all comes down to this. Is there going to be an upset? This is the 16 seed play-in game. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to unleave it deep, and it's going to be incomplete. Purdue stays alive after a close one. And next up, we got Utah State and TCU. Utah State's going to be represented by Utah. And then TCU is obviously just going to represent themselves. TCU, 87 overall, taking on Utah, who's the home team. But this is one of those games where it's not really an upset if we see the 9 seed take down the 8 seed. But honestly, I think I got TCU in this one. I think TCU, the 9 seed, moves on to the next one. Looks like TCU is going to start out on offense, and we're going to go ahead and start this Madden sim. TCU starting out the scoring with a touchdown. They end up getting a stop against Utah for the first drive, and this is going to go back and forth until TCU makes it a 2-possession game. Utah scores right before the half. It's 14-7 now, 14-10, 21-10 TCU. And Utah is trying to make a comeback, but TCU wastes all 3 of their timeout, and TCU is going to solidify this game and move on to the next round. So they're going to take on Purdue in the round of 32. And next up, we got Gonzaga and McNeese. And both of these teams are not in Madden, so I had to go ahead and find representatives from both of them. McNeese is a 12 seed. Gonzaga is a 5 seed. Notre Dame always chokes in the playoffs, so I made them the 5 seed. And then McNeese, they're in Louisiana, so they got lucky being represented by LSU. It gives them a lot of hope. We'll see what happens. Could Gonzaga fall in the round 1 of 64? I don't think so. McNeese is not well known in this tournament. I don't know when the last time in actual basketball they made the tournament, but we'll go ahead and see. LSU starts out the scoring with a touchdown, and they're going to double that, making it 14-0. Notre Dame finally answers, but LSU has that edge on him. It's 17-14, 24-14 at the start of the second half. Will McNeese pull off the upset? Madden looks like it might. It's 27-21, 30-21. You need the onside kick. Will Notre Dame be able to pull it off? They're representing Gonzaga, and no, McNeese is going to recover it, and this game is over. McNeese pulls off the upset. Gonzaga falls in the round of 64. Next up, we got Kansas and Samford, and Samford is not in Madden, so they have to be represented, and they're going to be represented by App State. I'm a Coastal Carolina fan. I go there, and I do not like App State, so I'm really hoping that Samford can't beat Kansas, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's go ahead and see if Kansas can hold on, and then we're almost wrapping up our round of 64 games, but we're going until there's one team left. So we're going to start seeing a repeat of teams. We're going to sim to the end of the game. Kansas is going to start out your scoring with a touchdown. App State answers. App State is going to give up a field goal by Kansas, but Kansas has the ball back. App State scores a touchdown, so they have the lead 14-10 going into the half. And are we going to see App State take them down? App State defense clutches up. App State comes up with the upset for Samford. So down goes Kansas, and Samford is facing LSU in the round of 32. This bracket is so scuffed, but we have 4 games left in the round of 64. Our next game is South Carolina and Oregon. I think Oregon's going to have this upset here. Is this bracket going to be realistic? I'm really guessing no, but might as well try it out, you know? Let's see what happens. Look at that stadium for South Carolina. They got the home field advantage, but they don't have the overall advantage. I think Oregon should be able to take care of business, but I also thought App State and Samford would lose. Oregon starts out the scoring. South Carolina ties them. Oregon 14-7, and at the end of the half, South Carolina matches that. It's 14-14. Oregon takes the lead once again, 21-14. Oregon can put this game away if they score, and they are going to make it a 2-possession game. Oregon moves on, and next up, we got Creighton versus Akron. Creighton's represented by USC, and Akron's in the game, and they're not a high overall, so I think Creighton's going to move on to the next round as well. It looks like USC is starting out with the football for this game. Let's jump to the end of the game and see what Madden thinks. USC is going to start out our scoring with a touchdown, and they are going to stop Akron to allow them to go up 2 possessions. Now it's a 3-possession game. Akron is going to get a field goal before the half, making it somewhat doable, but USC had this one from the very start. Creighton's not going to lose in the actual tournament. USC's not going to lose in this one. USC is going to move on. They're representing Creighton. Creighton moves on to the round of 32. Can y'all tell that I don't know anything about basketball? Is it like clear, or are some people under the assumption that I might know what I'm talking about? Creighton moves on, and next up, we got Texas Longhorns versus the University of Virginia. Stage is set. Who is gonna move on? We got Texas opening up the scoring 7-0. They're gonna make it 14-0, 21-0. Virginia's got to do something, or this game will be long gone. It's 28-0 at the start of the half, 31-0. Madden does not think that Virginia is going to pull off this upset. Texas is going to be your team moving on to the round of 32. We have Texas beating the University of Virginia, and now it's our last game of the round of 64. We got Tennessee taking on St. Peter's, and St. Peter's is going to be represented by Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. Tennessee answers the touchdown. Vanderbilt answers with a touchdown of their own. No shot. Vanderbilt pulls off an upset here. At halftime, they got the lead. It's 14-14 now. And now we'll go ahead and jump in. Tennessee got a safety. So now it's 14-16. Tennessee is going to run, pick up the first down, and that is ball game. Tennessee moves on against St. Pete. All right, so here's a quick look at all the teams that made it through to the round of 32, and now let's kick things off with UConn and FAU. But we'll see if Michigan can keep those hopes alive. They're going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. They are not going to be able to double it. Penn State's defense gets a stop. And this is a very defensive game. 10-0 now. Penn State finally gets on the board after halftime, and they are now going to take the lead 14-10. They're going to keep on driving. Michigan finally gets the ball back. It's 14-10. We'll go ahead and jump into the action. Michigan needs to score a touchdown. They're on their own 23-yard line. They still have all 3 timeouts, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. J.J. McCarthy drops back to pass. He's going to find Colston Loveland for the first down. Pretty solid pickup, and that also stops the clock, which is very good for Michigan. They don't want to leave too much time on the clock for Penn State, though. Gonna drop back to pass. He's got his halfback wide open, but he's gonna find Colston Loveland one more time, getting it down to a 2nd and 5. They do have those 3 timeouts, so you gotta consider some clock management here. Drops back to pass. He's gonna find Colston. No, that's Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson is gonna pick up the first down, stopping the clock until they hike it. Roman Wilson has 4 receptions, 60 yards on the day. That's pretty decent. Penn State's defense has got to clutch up if they want to stay alive in this tournament. They're representing FAU, so you know that these colleges are sitting on the edge of their seats, seeing who's going to happen. Is FAU going to upset UConn? Let's see. JJ McCarthy, quick snap. He's going to find, is that Roman Wilson? No, that's Colson Loveland once again. JJ McCarthy loves finding his tight end in this one. Colson Loveland, 7 receptions, 70 yards, averaging 10 yards per catch, which is insane. But that clock is ticking. He didn't get the first down. JJ McCarthy drops back to pass. He's going to find Colston Loveland once again for the first down. It looks like Michigan might actually win this game. They're taking a lot of time off of this clock, and they're driving down. They still have 32 yards to go, though. JJ McCarthy drops back to pass, and Colston Loveland is going to catch it on the 3-yard line. We're seeing our first timeout by Michigan. You better not throw a pick right here, JJ. That would really hurt your draft stock. I can promise you that. And he's going to just go ahead and score the touchdown. And now it's all in the hands of Penn State. Penn State starting out with a dime to get 8 yards till field goal range. But I think you go for the touchdown here to win this thing. 23 seconds left. Penn State might cause an upset for FAU taking down UConn. I would love to see it because I don't think that our bracket is going to be perfect anyways, and I want to see upsets now. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see FAU go all the way, but my call is still Texas Tech. Let's see, Michigan. Are you going to clutch up on defense? You got a wide open man. You're going to probably waste your first time out. They do. 18 seconds left. They're closer and closer to field goal range. It's about to show us. It actually skipped it, so we don't know where this kicker's leg is. We'll go ahead and see. Drop back to pass. They're going to go with a quick pass just to secure field goal range. And they use their second timeout. So now you're 38-yard line, 16 seconds left. All right, drops back to pass. He has a man wide open, wide receiver. All you got to do. My camera's glitching. What? All right, I think we're good. All the wide receiver had to do was reach out his hands and he would have been fine. They're going for it. What kind of play was that? I really expected them to just kick the field goal, but UConn's going to move on in the tournament because they went for it on 4th down. What? Are you kidding me? UConn is our first team in the Sweet 16, and next up we got San Diego State and Yale. We have UCLA representing San Diego State, and we have Stanford representing Yale. Who is going to start out our scoring? It is going to be none other than UCLA with a touchdown. They get the ball back to potentially make it a 2-possession game, and that is exactly what they're going to do. 14-0 at halftime. Stanford's got to get that offense rolling. They finally do, so now it's 14-7, 17-7, so it does not look like Stanford is going to hold on. It looks like UCLA is just going to drain out that clock, and San Diego State moves on to face UConn in the Sweet 16. All right, San Diego State takes down Yale. But our next game is going to be BYU versus Illinois. And luckily, both of these teams are in Madden, so we have nobody representing somebody, because I know that does get confusing, but sadly, the mod doesn't have everybody in the game. Let's see who's going to win this one. I'm calling a BYU upset here. It's a 4th and 2 scenario now, and Illinois wastes their second timeout, so they have 1 left. BYU punts the ball to them, so we do have some action to possibly see. Illinois gets a first down there. 3rd and 10. What is going to happen? Let's see. Gonna throw in a double coverage. That was not really smart by the Illinois quarterback. And now it's 4th and 10. If BYU can get a stop here, then they're going to win this football game. If it's small, don't say it. And there we go. BYU gets the stop. So Illinois is going to fall. And just like I predicted, BYU comes away with the upset. BYU takes down 3-seed Illinois. And now we got Washington State and South Dakota State. All right, so South Dakota State is being represented by UNLV, who is the worst team in this Madden mod. And they're going to have to take down Washington State. I just don't think that South Dakota State's going to go that far in the actual tournament, because I kind of want this thing to still be possibly the perfect bracket to get $1 million, because, like, who doesn't want $1 million? Let's go ahead and start our sim. Washington State's going to open up the scoring with a touchdown. They're going to score another touchdown as well. UNLV is going to answer, though. So South Dakota State's kind of happy about that. At halftime, they're only down a touchdown, and they end up tying it up after. We get a field goal from Washington State, and now UNLV lost all their timeouts, so Washington State could just drain out the clock, and Washington State moves on to the Sweet 16. Washington State moves on, knocking out South Dakota State. And now we got Howard or WAG represented by Ball State, and they're going to be playing Mississippi State. Ball State is another one of those really low rated teams. So I really think Mississippi State's going to be able to handle business, but it's March Madness, so anything can happen. Mississippi State is going to start out our scoring with a touchdown, but Ball State is threatening to score, and they do. They tie this up, and now they're going to have the lead. But Mississippi State ties it up right before halftime. Ball State is driving down. It's 21-14. It's 28-14. Is Madden really trying to mess up my bracket? No shot. The winner of the play-in game moves on to the Sweet 16, but Madden says that they do, so we progress them through. No shot Mississippi State loses that in real life. No shot. We got a 16 seed going into the Sweet 16. But next up, we have St. Mary's in Alabama. St. Mary's is represented by FSU, but Alabama is a powerhouse in football, and it's one of the highest rated teams. They're tied at a 94 overall with Georgia. So I think that Alabama takes down FSU here. For all those FSU fans that say we should have made the playoffs instead of Bama, go out there and prove it now. FSU is going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. They're taking a 2-possession lead now. It's 14-0. 14-7, Bama finally answers, but FSU answers to that. 28-14 at half. Bama's got to do something, and all that smack talk I gave to FSU fans, they go out and prove that they can take down Bama. So St. Mary's moves on against Alabama. That once again would not happen in real life. Bama destroys FSU, but St. Mary's moves on to the Sweet 16. And next up, we have New Mexico and Baylor. We're going to sim to the end of the game. Baylor's going to start out our scoring with a touchdown. They're going to go up 2 possessions. Once you get a 2-possession lead in Madden, you are looking really pretty. It's 17-7 now. Baylor scores right before the half as well. So it's 24-7 going into the half. Boston College making a comeback. I wanted to go ahead and slow it down, but let's keep on driving. Boston College ends up tying up the game. And we'll go ahead and jump in to watch Baylor. It's 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Baylor gonna go with a fullback dive, and somehow he doesn't get in. It looked like he had an opening, but it's now 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. This just allows them to take even more time off the clock, but they have to punch this in to go through. We got 5 on the play clock. Go ahead and snap it. Does he have a wide open man? He does for the touchdown. The Baylor Bears score, and now it's in Boston College's hand. They still have all 3 timeouts and the 1 minute and 34 seconds on the clock. They need to tie it up with a touchdown, or else they are out of March Madness. Boston College 4th and 10. It all comes down to this, and he has a man, but it gets blocked. Baylor takes down New Mexico, and next up we have Dayton and Arizona. Sadly for Arizona, Dayton's being represented by Ohio State just because Dayton's in Ohio. So I honestly have an upset here. I think Arizona falls. We're going to go ahead and jump into the action. It's 21-20. Arizona is winning. All right, we're going to get a read option, and the quarterback gets tripped up. He literally has all of the room to run, but this just helps them drain out that clock a bit more. They're down to the 41-yard line now, basically in field goal range in Madden. I don't know if they'll actually kick the field goal because it is the CPU, but if they can get a few more yards, this is really going to turn ugly for Ohio State and Dayton. They are going to go for it on 4th and 3. If they pick it up, this could be game over for Ohio State. And they are going to actually snap it, and they're going to get the first down. No, he drops it. So Ohio State just needs 20 yards, and they will move on. They're representing Dayton. They're a 7 seed, I believe, and Arizona is a 2nd seed. Are we going to see a small upset in the round of 32? We'll see if Kyle McCord has anything to say about it. McCord drops back, and he has a wide open receiver. Bad angles being taken, everybody besides number 4, and he gets down to the 4-yard line. It looks like Ohio State is going to get things done. They're just going to punch it in. So that is a touchdown for Ohio State. They're up 6 points if they kick the extra point. You probably go for 2 here, though. They are going to go for 2. They're going to go for the run, and they're not going to get it. So now Arizona has 1 timeout, 1 minute and 17 seconds on the clock, and if they are able to score a touchdown, they are going to win this football game. All right, there we go. Arizona, first play. That's all they needed. He's getting it down into the red zone. What a play by DeLora, finding his tight end, I believe, wide open in the center of the field. And they are now on the 13-yard line with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Ohio State, you better be worried. Dayton watching from the sidelines. They're not actually in the mod, so Ohio State is representing them, but they better be trembling. This is 13 yards, and Arizona will take this win. Arizona takes the snap. What's going to happen? Wide open, wide receiver, touchdown. Arizona back on top. No shot. It took them 2 plays, but Ohio State still has all 3 timeouts and 52 seconds on the clock. What are they going to do? Is Arizona's defense going to come in clutch? They're going to go with the play action in coverage. He throws it and he does get the first down. They call a timeout, 42 seconds left, 29-yard line. You need at least like 50 yards to be in field goal range, something like that. All right, once again, wide open receiver, and they're in field goal range if he doesn't score here, and he's going to. Ohio State, Kyle McCord, get it done. Marvin Harrison Jr. comes up clutch with that touchdown. Kyle McCord drops back to pass, and he's going to find Fleming for the 2-point conversion. That makes it a 7-point game. Arizona only has 1 timeout, 34 seconds left. Can Arizona get it done? He's going to drop back to pass, find a wide open player. He does get the first down, and that stops the clock. All right, another wide open player. He's going to break the tackle, and that actually hurts him because that's going to push him behind the 1-yard line. It would have stopped the clock, and they could have saved their timeout, but they have to use it, and now you just got to go deep. I believe this game's over, but Arizona is going to heave one to the end zone. He got it at the 1-yard line. All you needed to do was reach backwards and you would have gone through. But Ohio State gets Dayton through to the Sweet 16. And next up, we have Houston and Texas A&M. All right, so Texas A&M versus Houston. Texas A&M is going to start out the scoring with a field goal. Houston is going to answer that with a touchdown. Texas A&M with another field goal, and the Houston is going to answer with a field goal of their own. Now it's 17-16 Houston, 17. Now it's 21-17 Texas A&M. This is turning into a game, and we're going to go ahead and jump in. Houston is up 24-21. They're on the 17-yard line and driving. Houston quarterback drops back, and he is going to find a man to get it down to first and goal. Texas A&M has to burn their first timeout. Dang. Houston scores a touchdown. I don't know if he was in bounds there, though. So Houston ends up getting it done with that touchdown. They pushed it just too far for Texas A&M. So Texas A&M is out, and Houston is moving on to our next round. Houston takes down 9-seeded Texas A&M, and now we got Wisconsin and Duke playing. Wisconsin is going to open up the scoring with a field goal. They're also going to get a touchdown to match that. Another touchdown, but they missed the extra point. Duke is now 13-3. It's 19-3. Wisconsin can put it all away if they can score again. It's 19-13, 12-yard line. If they can score a touchdown, this game is basically over. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in this game. Wisconsin drops back to pass. They're going to get down to the 4-yard line. Duke takes their second timeout. They're going to try to run the ball, and that's going to drain Duke's third timeout. Oklahoma did not make the tournament, so they're not in here. Wisconsin, wide open touchdown, but there is a flag. So will this one be coming back? It might be holding. I don't think so. They're showing Duke. So this is probably pass interference. It is. Wisconsin gets it done against Duke. They get the stop 25-20. So Wisconsin gets it done. And next up, we got Texas Tech and Kentucky. I got Texas Tech winning the whole thing in my actual bracket. But let's see if Madden thinks that I'm right. Kentucky is going to open up our scoring 10-0. Texas Tech has to do something before they fall too far behind. They answer with a touchdown, and they tie it up before the end of the half. It's now 10-12 Kentucky. They ended up getting a safety, and this is a very close case. Texas Tech is driving. They get 3 points, and we're going to jump in here. Kentucky, 1st and 10. They're going to drop back, and they are going to unload one deep, and he has somebody to the 10-yard line. Is Texas Tech done for? Please tell me that they don't lose here. This is to take the lead. He's got to drill the kick. There's a lot of pressure on him, but he is going to drill it. So now Texas Tech has all 3 timeouts, about a minute to work with, and they got to go kick a field goal at least to move on to the next round. All right, Texas Tech, let's get it. No. He fumbled. What are you doing? That's our 4th fumble on a special teams play. You got to hold on, Texas Tech. They choose to run, and they run into the end zone. That's game. Kentucky moves on. Texas Tech is eliminated. Texas Tech, goodbye. Kentucky moves on to the Sweet 16. But now we got Florida taking on Marquette, and Marquette is represented by Georgia. So we have a rivalry game here. Georgia is also going to get home field advantage, so Florida has to travel to Athens, Georgia to try to take care of business. Florida is actually going to start out our scoring with a touchdown. Georgia does end up matching that. Florida takes the lead again, 14-14. Georgia answers. Now it is 17-14. Florida, 20-14. Florida 28-14. Georgia's got to make something happen, and they're not going to be able to. Florida upsets Marquette, and Marquette is out in the round of 32. So now Florida moves on to face Kentucky in the round of 16, and now we just got the Midwest to do. We got 4 more games. Our next game is going to be Purdue taking on TCU. We'll go ahead and jump into the action to see Purdue possibly make this a 2-possession game. Right now, they're up by 4 points, being 21-17. They're on their own 41-yard line, but there's still a lot of football to be played. Purdue's going to run this football, and they're going to have a lot of room to run. They're also going to get basically into field goal range, and there we go. Another solid run to get to 2nd and 2. Maccabee is getting it done, draining out this clock for Purdue and allowing them to stay alive. I say you try to run this, drain the clock, and never mind. Purdue knows more than me. They drain TCU's second timeout, and now they should just run out this clock and move on to the Sweet 16. So that one's done. We can all agree they're just going to go in a victory formation. Purdue getting it done, staying alive as the 1 seed. And next up, we got McNeese and Samford, 2 teams that have representatives working for them. McNeese is represented by LSU, where Samford's represented by App State. Personally, I think LSU's got this because I don't like App State. I'll go to Coastal Carolina. Who would like them? You guys want to know the funny thing? My dad's an App State grad. LSU has home field advantage plus an overall advantage. App State does not stand a chance. 24-10, 31-10. This game is over for App State. LSU powered through, so App State leaves the tournament, which means that McNeese, being represented by LSU, moves on, and Samford is done. And now we have Oregon and Creighton. Creighton is represented by USC, so this is definitely going to be a pretty solid game. Oregon scores, so let's jump into the action. Oregon is up 34-34 now. It's tied, and USC is still on the field. USC representing Creighton. It's a 3rd and 2 with 37 seconds left on the clock. But right now, USC is in field goal range, so Oregon needs a stop here if they want to stay alive. And they are not going to get it. USC, wide open running lane, and they get the first down. And now this clock can just tick down, and they can kick a field goal to move into our Sweet 16, and that leaves 1 team left. So Creighton moves on, and they're going to face the winner of Texas and Tennessee. Personally, I think Tennessee's got this, but Texas definitely has the opportunity to complete an upset here. Going into the 4th quarter, it's 24-17 now. This is a close game. Texas is driving 2nd and 8 to potentially tie up this game. They're on the 15-yard line with 2 minutes left on the clock. All 3 timeouts for both teams. Who is going to get it done? Let's see. But let's see if Texas can go ahead and get into the back of the end zone. They need one here, and they're going to. That's a touchdown to tie up the game. All right, Joe Milton, what are you going to do on 3rd and 5? You need to find somebody wide open. He does move the chains. He gets stopped in bounds, though. So this clock will tick. They need to get to the 42-yard line. So essentially just 5 more yards and they'd be in field goal range. Joe Milton drops back to pass. He's going to go a bit further, and he's going to get picked off. Texas has new hope. It's whoever can kick a field goal, essentially, and Texas is now back on offense. Joe Milton just sold big time. You needed 10 yards and to kick the field goal, and now Texas has the opportunity to do just that. And that's exactly what ended up happening here. Sadly, my stream cut out, but Texas finalizes the Sweet 16, and now we're jumping back up to UConn to see them take on San Diego State. They got to get to the 36-yard line for James Turner to take over. I want UCLA to get this upset so bad. So bad, bro. All right, Colston Loveland gets the catch. This clock's going to tick, but they only need 20 more yards for a field goal. You got to get a stop if you're a UCLA fan. Let's go ahead and see what J.J. McCarthy can do. He drops back to pass, and he is going to have a wide open Colston Loveland to get them into field goal range, and UCLA's hopes are over. UCLA and San Diego State are out of this tournament as soon as Michigan gets the field goal. All right, Donovan Edwards is going to go ahead and run this football. They don't have any timeouts. I don't think that they have enough time. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think that they have enough time. Does he spike it here? He spikes it here, right? If you run this football, you're not going to have enough time. What are they doing? What are they doing? We're going to OT. You should have spiked it and kicked the field goal. UCLA stays alive. AI doesn't spike. AI needs to learn how to spike. Gonna find the halfback. He's got to get upfield. You need a first down soon. It's gonna be 3rd and 4 from the 19-yard line. You don't want to result in a field goal, I don't think. All right, drops back to pass, and he has a wide open receiver for the touchdown. UCLA goes up by a touchdown, and now the pressure is on Michigan. They need a touchdown in order to win this, and JJ McCarthy is going to be able to find Johnson to get down to the 9, and that's not a good look for UCLA. Defense wins games, I hope. Get a stop, UCLA. Let me be able to root against Michigan. And Michigan, oh, Johnson, what a catch. What a touchdown. Time for double overtime. Michigan is back on offense for double overtime. JJ McCarthy's gonna drop back. Bro, JJ McCarthy's so clutch. Maybe he is the GOAT of college football. Bro, maybe Harbaugh was right. Him and Johnson are just linking up and destroying this UCLA defense. They're probably just gonna give this to Donovan Edwards and just let him run. Oh, it's actually play action. Hold up. Good sack by UCLA, bringing him down to the 10-yard line, being like Superman over there. I don't even know what he's doing. Handoff merchant? That was not a handoff, agent. JJ McCarthy takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to Donovan Edwards. Okay, there's the handoff merchant. 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. If that was me, I'm handing it off to Donovan Edwards. Or I'm going to Johnson, because Johnson scored 2 touchdowns now whenever they needed it. We'll see. Handing it off to Donovan Edwards, and he's going to be short. So now it's 4th and goal. So what do you do here? Do you go for the field goal? I don't really know. This could be 100% accurate to March Madness. Looks like it's upset and wins happening. Anything can happen, but who knows? Imagine this made me the perfect bracket. This was the key all along. They're going for it on 4th and goal. JJ McCarthy, what are you going to do? He's going to find a wide open Johnson for a touchdown. I mean, what do you expect there? They come in clutch whenever they need to. This is March Madness. Cornelius Johnson is so clutch, but JJ's the GOAT. This is proven JJ's the GOAT, and I hate to say that. And now all the pressure's on UCLA. This is a great game, though. This is all you can ask for the first game of the Sweet 16. UCLA quarterbacks drops back. You got your halfback wide open. You got to go to him, obviously. Now it's 2nd and inches from the 2. Now you just hand it off, punch it in, and then it's all going to come down to that 2-point conversion. Empty backfield is insane here. Is this mesh? It's wide open. You miss your mark, though, more. Looks like they're going to go for the run. It's 3rd and inches, and they get the stop. Michigan forces a 4th and 2. UCLA's got to do something here. This is a perfect opportunity to run mesh. It's money right here because you got the 2 crossing routes, and one of them's got to open up. But we'll see if Michigan's defense comes up clutch, or if UCLA can punch it in and force it into triple OT. What are they lined up in? It doesn't look like they're lined up in mesh. Drops back to pass. You have a wide open man. We're going to triple OT. If they can get the 2-point conversion, you had a wide open man in the middle of the field, but he wants to be style and hit him in the back of the end zone with the play. All right. Come on. Come on. He gets it. Let's go. Triple OT. 40-40. I cannot ask for a better game. This is an amazing game. Exactly. Cool, Carl. And now they go back and forth with 2-point conversions. UCLA put some pressure on Michigan. Nobody's open. He's got to go to his halfback, and Michigan's going to get the stop. If Michigan scores this here, then this game is over. Both of these teams, I think we keep on forgetting. UConn is being represented by Michigan. UCLA is representing San Diego State. If Michigan picks this up here, UConn is continuing in the tournament, and that's exactly what they did. Cornelius Johnson clutched up time and time again in this game, and your first team in the Elite Eight is UConn. UConn takes down San Diego State, and next up we got BYU and Washington State. See, some of these games are so interesting, and then some of them are so boring. Let's see what happens. BYU is going to open up our scoring 7-3 now. Washington State answers. BYU 14-10. Washington with a touchdown of their own. 17-14. It's another very close one. We're getting some very decent teams, and now it's a defensive battle. BYU driving down. They tie it up with a field goal. They drive down again, and they score. So let's jump in. 2nd and 6. Washington State drops back, gonna find his halfback for just short. There's 38 seconds left. They need a touchdown at 3rd and 2, and they waste their first time out. Washington drops back to pass, and he's gonna throw a pick. BYU is moving into the Elite Eight against UConn. Ooh, now we got How or Wag going against St. Mary's. We're going into the sim. We're going end of the game. Can Ball State pull off the upset for the 16 play-in game? FSU starts out our scoring 7. Ball State answers 7-7. JC Card Corner, appreciate the sub. FSU 14-7. Now it's 21-7. Ball State does answer to keep this game alive. FSU now 28-21. Ball State ties it up 28-28. Let's load it in here. Can FSU choke? Can we see the 16 seed go to our Elite 8? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Please beat FSU. Yes, Cyper. It's 3rd and 2 now. Ball State is out of timeout, so if FSU gets the timeout, then they're looking really pretty. But we'll see. Maybe they're too stupid to keep this ball on the ground. And they're not. They're going to pick up the first down, and that should be game. That really should be game because all they got to do is kick the extra point now. So it looks like St. Mary's is going to be progressing in our tournament. FSU, let's see them. They drive down. They score a touchdown. But Ball State still's got the opportunity, I guess. All right, Ball State takes it back and takes a sack. That does not help them at all. That clock is going to tick down now. You got to go deep. You got 90 yards to go in 35 seconds. That's very hard to do. And they almost get the first down. He needed that first down because it would stop the clock, but I think this game's over. We're going to get a Hail Mary from Ball State. They need something, and it just looks like it's not going to happen. Ball State is out of here. St. Mary's is moving on to the Elite 8. Oh, what a shame. The 16 seed play-in team falls. St. Mary's moves on, and now we got to see who they end up beating or playing. It's either Baylor or Dayton, and Dayton's represented by Ohio State, so there's a very good chance that we get an Ohio State FSU game in the Elite 8. I'd love to see an underdog win this thing, but I think Ohio State's just too good. They're 93 overall. Who wouldn't take them? But we got Ohio State. We got Baylor. Who's going to take it? Is Dayton going to keep on their streak? Let's go ahead and jump forward to the end of the game. Baylor is going to open up our scoring with a touchdown. They get a stop on Ohio State, but then Ohio State eventually answers. It's 14-7. Baylor has the opportunity to make a two-possession game. They can't capitalize. Ohio State now has the lead, and now it's a 2-possession lead in favor of Ohio State. Baylor really tried to hold on there, but it looks like Ohio State and Dayton are moving on. I really thought Baylor could have had the upset there in the Madden game, but Dayton actually takes the upset in the actual bracket, and Ohio State is representing them well. In the Elite 8, we are going to see St. Mary's of FSU representation playing Dayton, who's represented by Ohio State. That's going to be a great game. Two good teams, I guess. But now we get to see Houston versus Wisconsin. That's going to be an entertaining game, too. Houston's not that great, so honestly, I see a Wisconsin upset here. We are going to see Houston open up our scoring with a field goal, and they're going to match that with a touchdown. Wisconsin just can't get anything going on offense. They finally score at the end of the first half. It's 17-3. Now it's 24-3. Wisconsin needs a touchdown soon, and they get that, and it looks like they're trying to complete a comeback, and they do. What? Who won that? I went way too fast, and I apologize to the Wisconsin fans, but it looks like Houston ended up getting it done 24-23. Wisconsin tried to go with the comeback, but Houston holds on as the 1 seed. And next up, we got Kentucky versus Florida. I accidentally clicked Kentucky, but we don't have a winner just yet. We got Kentucky as the home team facing Florida, who's the away team. Kentucky is driving on their 44-yard line. It's 2nd and 12. They're already up by 4. If they can score a touchdown, then it puts it away. If they score a field goal, then Florida still has the opportunity to tie, but we'll see what happens. Kentucky is doing pretty well right now. It's going to be 3rd and 5. University of Florida takes their second timeout. They have 1 remaining, and it's 3rd and 5. If they can get a stop here and hold a field goal, then they might be able to force this thing into OT. Kentucky's quarterback drops back to pass. He has a wide open man on the right side. He doesn't see it, and he just throws it away. That's best case scenario for your Florida fans. This means that they're probably just going to take the field goal. I don't know if their kicker's got the leg, though. This is a long field goal. Very long field goal. Does he have the leg? He does. Y'all hear the doink too? It's off the crossbar, and that thing's in. Mertz drops back to pass, and it's incomplete. It's a 4th and 4, and it all comes down to this. If Kentucky can get a stop, they're going to move on to the next round. But if University of Florida picks up this first down, we might actually have a game on our hands. Mertz drops back to pass, and he has a wide open man, but it gets knocked out, and Kentucky just sealed their road to the Elite 8. And Florida goes down. It's kind of crazy. I did kind of predict that. I'll show you guys the wheel. I accidentally pressed Kentucky, and Kentucky did win. I promise I didn't rig it, though. So now we got 2 games left in the Sweet 16. We got Purdue versus McNeese, and McNeese is being represented by LSU, so we could have an upset here. All right, Purdue is going to start out our scoring with a touchdown. LSU is going to answer that. Purdue drives down 14-7 now. LSU needs to do something. Still 14-7. Now it's 14-14. They tie it up. Purdue answers with another touchdown, 21-21. Let's go ahead and jump into this. LSU is getting the ball at their own 15-yard line. There's 2 minutes left on the clock. It's a 2nd and 12 scenario, 21-21. Whoever scores next is probably going to win this game. You got all 3 timeouts. You can kind of be risky here, but you don't want to punt this ball away, especially with the field position right now. They're going to go with a screen pass, and that was honestly the best decision. You're going to get a first down. You're going to get a new set of downs, and now all you got to get is a field goal. I don't know. I think LSU might have this one. LSU picks up the first down, and he's still going. And is that a face mask? That's a face mask, guaranteed. Face mask. First down, they're in field goal range now. That was a huge mistake by Purdue. We've already seen that, though. Purdue, earlier in the video, had a 4th down, like a 4th and 46, and they got saved. Or they screwed up? I forget. I forget which one's which. But LSU is now in field goal range and in a very good position to run out the rest of the clock and then kick a last-second field goal. This run game is insane. Diggs, 16 rushes, 79 yards. When they needed him most, he stepped up. And now LSU can drive this clock down. LSU to take the lead. They're going to end up kicking it, and it is good. LSU is on top by 3 points. But Purdue gets one more opportunity to see if they can hold off the upset. But if they can't, it looks like McNeese is going to upset Purdue. This is their last chance. He's going to heave one deep. Is there a man? He kind of did burn him, but that is incomplete, and McNeese pulls off the upset. 2 1 seeds are remaining now. We have UConn and Houston, but Purdue falls to McNeese. And now we got Creighton, Texas. Creighton is being represented by USC, so we'll see who gets that. Who is going to be our final team in the Elite 8? USC is going to start out the scoring, and Texas matches that with a touchdown of their own. It's going back to USC, who's going to add another touchdown to their score. It's 21-7, 21-10 at the end of the half. This is a great game. USC's offense is dominating. Let's go ahead and jump in. It's 28-23. If USC can score again, right now they have a 5-point lead. Even if they score a field goal, they will be able to make this a 2-possession game, and this could potentially get ugly real quick. Caleb Williams to his halfback, who's going to get a decent amount of yards. He does get tackled inbounds as well, so this clock is just going to keep on ticking. It's 3rd and 6 now from their 40-yard line. Is that in field goal range? That's the big question here, because if USC does score again, then this game should be over. Caleb going to choke again? We'll have to wait and see. Do you think Caleb will be a bust? I don't know. If he goes to the Bears, probably. The real USC, I'm sorry, DNH, yes. They're the real USC, the good USC. All right, Caleb Williams drops back to pass, and he is lucky that that's not picked off. He throws to the backside of the linebacker. It's a great pass, but they pick up the first down. Definitely in field goal range now, and this game should be over. All right, just keep on running this football. This game is over. 3rd and 2. Caleb Williams actually dropping back to pass, and Caleb Williams, do you want to sell? He's giving Texas hope. What are you doing, buddy? Go screw up in Chicago now. That's such a bad call. All you had to do is keep the ball on the ground and run this clock out. But he throws a pick on the goal line, looking like Russell Wilson out there. Ken Quinn Ewers, do something. All you need is a touchdown. No shot, bro. No shot. Caleb Williams is in tears as Texas takes it to the house. No shot, Caleb Williams. This is why you're a bust in the Bears, for the Bears. No way. Oh my. So all USC needs is a touchdown. But Caleb Williams is his vision's gonna be blurry. He's been crying on the sideline after that one. Caleb Williams, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in March Madness tournament? Gonna get tackled inbounds. They gotta waste their first time out. They're down to 2, 19 seconds left, 34-yard line. 2nd and 3. Come on, Texas. Come on, Texas defense. What are you going to do? Caleb Williams drops back to pass. He's got a man wide open. And that looks like they are only 6 yards away from field goal range. They're down to 2 timeouts. 15 seconds left. This is a very interesting game. Caleb Williams is trying to make it where he didn't choke. He's trying to prove the haters wrong. And he's got a wide open man. Caleb Williams might have got lucky. 8 seconds now. Are they going to use their last timeout? They haven't called the timeout yet, which is really weird. You got to call it. Come on. Call a timeout. Have the awareness. He didn't get knocked out of bounds. So this clock is going to continue to tick. They're going no huddle. Now they call their timeout. Well, Texas tried to do it. Caleb Williams, I guess his vision wasn't blurry from crying. All right. But USC is going to drill a last-second field goal, and they are going to move on to end out our Elite Eight. I really thought Texas had something there with the crazy play. It went down to the wire, but at the end of the day, USC and Caleb Williams come back like no other could do, and they are going to finish out the Elite Eight. And now we're down to 8 teams left. We have UConn represented by Michigan. We have BYU. We have St. Mary's represented by FSU. We have Dayton represented by Ohio State. We have Houston. We have Kentucky. And we have McNeese represented by LSU. And wrapping out our Elite Eight, we have Creighton represented by USC and Caleb Williams. Who do you guys think is going to win it all? Put it in the comments right now. But our first game is Michigan and BYU. Michigan is going to have home field advantage since they're the highest seed, and BYU is going to be the away team. Michigan is going to make this thing a 2-possession game. BYU cannot find their offense to get them on the board. 21-0, 21-7, 28-7. Michigan and UConn are going to the Final Four. That one hurts. I really wanted BYU to get an upset. UConn is making it. And next up, we got St. Mary's versus Dayton. These are 2 very good teams in Madden. They both got representatives. All right, 12-yard line. They got a long way to go. Great start, though. They get out of bounds. That also stops the clock. 20-yard line, 1 minute and 8 seconds left to go. Let's go. Let's see it. I'd love to see Ohio State win this one. All right, Kyle McCord drops back to pass. They're going to do a screen, and it's buggy in Madden, so it doesn't work out. Kyle McCord finds a man, but he drops it. It comes down to this 4th and 2. Can Kyle McCord and Ohio State stay alive, or will FSU, representing St. Mary's, move on to the Final Four to face UConn, represented by Michigan? Kyle McCord, wide open man. How risky is that? On 4th and 2, you're going deep to the 41-yard line. Ohio State has life. Kyle McCord, gets broken up. 4th and 10, it all comes down to this. This time, that might actually be true. McCord pulling a McCord, just like in real life. Let's see, will Ohio State take down FSU? Kyle McCord has a man. It's incomplete, and FSU and St. Mary's are moving on to the Final Four against UConn and Michigan. Dayton goes down. St. Mary's moves on. Our next game is Houston and Kentucky, and since Houston is the 1 seed, they're going to have home field advantage. Houston is up 17-10, but Kentucky has the ball and they're driving. They're on the 11-yard line. They just got 11 yards to go to tie up this game. We got a screen by Kentucky, and it looks like, not great blocking by the lineman there. I thought that they'd have a lot of room to run, but it's 3rd and 2, and that clock continues to be a fear for Kentucky. You got to pick this up if you're Kentucky. I guess you have two tries at it. It's going to drop back to pass. Wide open receiver in the end zone. No, he goes down at the 1. They have to use their first timeout, but you should just power this one through. I don't know why you're possession catching that one there, but let's see. Twin Blade, welcome from TikTok. And it is gonna get in the next play. Kentucky scores and ties up this game. All right, Houston drops back to pass, has a lot of time, but ends up going with the halfback. Uses their first timeout, 2nd and 8, 24-yard line. What is going to happen? That almost got picked. That could have been really bad. On 3rd and 8, they go with a run, and now it's 4th and 2, and Kentucky gets the ball back. So I can totally go and do this. That's PI. No, we got a flag on the play. Let's see what happens. St. Peter's is not still in it. How do you play this? This is Madden Madness on PC. I got a full video up on my YouTube channel that you guys can go and see how to do it. But that was a big pass interference because that puts Kentucky on midfield. Drops back to pass. They're going to go pretty deep. And he's lucky that one's not picked. He just throws it away. You need 10 more yards for a field goal, or 17 more yards for a field goal. Their kicker's not too good. They still have one timeout, but you got to get at least a first down here. I think we're going to overtime, though. Yeah, ooh, he has some yards to run. It's 3rd and 5. You got to take a timeout here. With 3 seconds left, you got to go for the Hail Mary, right? Dayton is not still in it. They just lost to FSU. Kentucky drops back to pass. They're going with a Hail Mary. He's going to unlaunch it. And is it going to be far enough? Kentucky takes the snap. That's almost picked off. That was dangerous right there. And now it's 3rd and 10. And Kentucky gets stopped by Houston's defense, and they're going to have to settle for a field goal here. Kentucky is going to go up by a field goal, but if Houston scores a touchdown, then their dreams in March Madness are over. Has a wide open receiver. They're going to pick up the first down, and they're going to move the chains. 13 yards to go. Houston, play action. They're going to take a sack. It's 2nd and 18. That was big by Kentucky's defense. They're going to go with the run, and that's actually a great call by Houston. It's now going to be 3rd and 1, a 17-yard run by Jenkins. He comes up whenever he needs to. What is going to happen? He's got a man wide open, and it's dropped. You go for it. Go for it. Put your cards on the table and do not force this thing into double overtime. Go for it and pick it up. They're going to go for it. This is what I like to see. We're going to have a winner here. What's going to happen? Is Houston going to hold on? They're a 1 seed. And Kentucky upsets Houston. Houston is no longer in March Madness. Kentucky gets it done, and that is a crazy result. Kentucky takes down Houston, and now we have one team left going into the Final Four. It's either McNeese, who's represented by LSU, or Creighton, represented by USC. It's bound to be a good game, right? Oh, LSU with a big drive to open up the scoring. USC is going to match it. LSU 14-7, LSU 21-7. They got a 2-possession lead now going into the half. It's 28-7. LSU looks like they're pulling away with this. It's 31-14, and LSU is going to be your final team in the Final Four. Our Final Four is looking insane now, but apparently Madden thinks that McNeese is going to be our underdog of the tournament. So we got UConn being represented by Michigan. We got St. Mary's being represented by FSU. We got Kentucky, and then McNeese, as we just saw, being represented by LSU. Which team is going to take it all? Drop your guess in the comments right now. We're going to start with our UConn St. Mary's game. Michigan's going to obviously have home field advantage. Michigan is going to open up the scoring with a touchdown. They don't get the extra point. That could come back to cost them. FSU is now up 10-9 now. 17-9. Michigan 12-17. FSU making this a 2-possession game. And just like that, FSU takes down Michigan. And oh, wait, this is actually a game now. Never mind. I spoke too soon. Michigan has the opportunity to come back and tie this game, but this clock is ticking. And if it stands like this, St. Mary's took down UConn to end up in the championship. You got 14 seconds if you're Michigan. JJ McCarthy's got to be clutch here. You got to make something happen. And he's given it time to progress just to throw it out of bounds. All right, it all comes down to this. JJ McCarthy needs a miracle play here. He's going to have to go deep. He's letting the play progress, and he is really good at just running out of bounds. This is a bomb. And it's incomplete. St. Mary's upsets UConn, and the stat stays alive and turns to Madden. They don't go back-to-back. UConn is out of the March Madness tournament. That's crazy, chat, but UConn falls, and St. Mary's is in the championship. And now we got McNeese and Kentucky. McNeese is represented by LSU. They got lucky with who's representing them, and I think that's why they've made it this far. But will they upset Kentucky as well? We'll have to wait and see. LSU is going to start out the scoring with a touchdown. Kentucky answers. LSU responds right back, 14-7. Kentucky makes it 14-14, 21-14 LSU. At the halftime, we're tied 21-21. Both teams are having opportunities, but the defense is stopping. It's 31-21. Kentucky's got to make something happen. They are driving down. It's 1st and goal right now. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. A touchdown to tie it up. They're on the 7-yard line, 31-24. Kentucky's got to make something happen here. They're going to run the football on 2nd and goal. He breaks the tackle. What are you doing? Why are you running out of bounds there? All right, you got to make something happen here on 3rd and goal. And he's going to catch it for the touchdown. Now LSU gets the ball back in their hands, and they can go win it with a last-second field goal. 13 seconds left. It looks like we got another overtime thriller to determine who's going. Jaden Daniel read option for 99 yards, imagine. It's going to get the first down. I'd call a timeout and at least try. Kentucky has all the momentum, and they are starting on offense. This is overtime right here. Who is going to make it into our championship? Kentucky starts off with a little short pass going for 4 yards. Will Kentucky be the first team to score in overtime, or will LSU shut them down? They get the first down there. They get new set of downs. Kentucky, 2nd and inches. They are now on the 4-yard line. LSU defense is selling you, Tomty. It looks like Kentucky might actually take care of business here. Kentucky pushes in for the touchdown, and now the pressure is on LSU. All right, LSU takes the field, and he's going to throw a pick. The Heisman winner just lost their chances in March Madness. Kentucky is playing FSU for the finals. So McNeese's Cinderella story comes to an end. Kentucky is going to be facing St. Mary's in the championship. St. Mary's is obviously not in Madden, but they're being represented by FSU. And now it's time to see who the winner of that game is. Let's sit back and watch this thing, chat. This is your match, March Madness Championship. FSU representing St. Mary's. Kentucky doesn't need any representation. They're taking on themselves. Kentucky is going to start out this game with a solid run going for 7 yards. It's 3rd and 3. You want to start off the championship by scoring first. Wide open player over the middle. Going to get a first down to the 47-yard line. Drops back to pass. He's going to have his wide receiver on the curl. Going to pick up the first down as well. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm going to reach out to them. And Kentucky with a big play. First and goal opportunity for Kentucky. Can they be the first team to score? Let's go ahead and see. It looks like he's actually going to take a sack back down to the 18-yard line. It's 2nd and goal from the 18. Kentucky is not going to touchdown there. All right, we get a wide receiver screen, which is an interesting call when you got to get 18 yards. He only gets 7, so it looks like we're going to have a field goal. All right, here we go. FSU. You got a wide open halfback. He's going to take a sack, though. So now it's 2nd and 15. They had great starting field position from the 49-yard line, but they're going to get the sack. Kentucky player is injured, though. Jordan Travis steps back to pass. He's going to end up taking off. Pretty realistic. He's going to go for the slide. Gets hit, though. 3rd and 4 now from the 45-yard line. Jordan Travis going to find a man, and it's incomplete. So 4th and 4. I think that they're out of field goal range, too. So it looks like Kentucky could go up 2 possessions here. All right, Kentucky takes the field again. Going to find a man over the top. 2nd and 5. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Kentucky up 3-0. Devin Leary, wide open guy on the curl. They pick up the first down, and they will continue to chew a majority of the clock. That's one thing that they're dominating FSU in right now. FSU has not been on the field that long. I'm his favorite mod. I can't choose favorites, Tomty. Tomty's soon going to be my editor, though. Big time run by Kentucky, picking up the first down. 5 minutes and 22 seconds left on the clock. He's got a wide open man once again on that curl route. FSU's defenders are just not watching that. That puts him at 100 yards as well. 7 for 12. 100 yards, 111 total yards. They've only run the ball a few times. But this receiver is doing really well. Get it. Another great pass by Devin Leary. Kentucky is currently driving on FSU. We'll see if they can make this a 2-possession game. That would be a great start for them. Exactly what they want. Devin Leary drops back to pass. He's got a lot of time to throw, and he throws it up. It looks like that's going to be PI. I think that's going to be a play. Pass interference. No, illegal touching. That really hurts Kentucky there. But illegal touching on Tavion Robinson. All right, they result going back to the run. Great stiff arm, and that is going to get them a 2-possession lead. Kentucky, 10-0. What a play. What a play by Ray Davis. Jordan Travis is taking over. 2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. What is he going to do? He's going to miss that pass. Jordan Travis is not looking too good. As soon as FSU goes up against an SEC team, they just end up choking. But it's 3rd and 10. You got to get a stop if you're Kentucky, because then you can push this even further. Make this a 3-possession game. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this Kentucky defense can hold on. FSU is representing St. Mary's, and that's an incomplete pass. Kentucky is getting this ball right back. They're going to keep on just running this ball with Ray Davis. That blocking is insane. Great run. 7 rushes, 54 yards. 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. I think Kentucky might win a national championship in basketball. Devin Leary takes the snap. He's got an 80 once again. Who's going to break a tackle? Going to keep on pushing down to 2nd and 1 on the 45-yard line. This is just domination. They got full momentum now. They're up 10-0. They're driving on FSU, going down to the half, but FSU does get ball at half, so this game could easily turn around. What are you going to do, Kentucky? They're going to go ahead and run it with Ray Davis. He breaks one tackle. He continues down, pushing into the 30-yard line. I think Kentucky takes this. I really do. Let's see if they can get another touchdown. And they're going to get down to the 1-yard line, but there is 1 minute and 2 seconds left. So honestly, I'd let a bit of clock come off before you end up punching this in, because you don't want to give FSU too much time. Kentucky looking like a well-oiled machine. Who would have expected? FSU has taken down Michigan. They took down Alabama. And now Kentucky might take them down? That's what you expect, though. All right, 45 seconds left on the clock. It looks like they're going to try to run this one. They're going to give it to Ray Davis. And Ray Davis is going to punch it in. They're on the 20-yard line, threatening to score. They did get the ball to start out the half, but Kentucky's defense has just got to clutch up here. You just want them to take as much time off the clock for themselves as possible, and you'll be pretty good. All right, Jordan Travis drops back to pass. It's 3rd and 6. He's going to unload one to the end zone, but it's incomplete, and it looks like FSU has to settle for a field goal. That means that this thing is still a 2-possession game. But who knows? Maybe they'll do a double QB action. And it's a fake. FSU fakes it, and the lineman scores a touchdown in the championship. Let's go. Big man touchdown on the fake field goal. Kentucky was not expecting it. That's what you ask in March Madness, though. The lineman, he's floating. What? That's insane. What a throw. Wide open lineman takes it to the house. That opens up the scoring for FSU. They don't settle for the field goal. It is still a 2-possession game, however, but that really changes this situation. Kentucky, first down right there. It's Devin Leary, right? That's the quarterback's name. And that's also going to be pass interference. So it looks like a defensive pass interference is going to get Kentucky a first down here. How's my vote Kentucky doing? This is the championship. This is the championship, Fave, and they're winning right now. They're dominating FSU. FSU is representing St. Mary's, but Kentucky has been all over them today. They're going to run it with Ray Davis. Going to get to 3rd and 1. Ray Davis, 10 rushes, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. If Kentucky wins, it's because of that guy right there. It's 3rd and inches. You hand it off to him again. Go ahead. I wonder if he has an X factor in Madden to allow him to get first one free. And it looks like they might actually go shotgun formation. And there we go. There is the run that we expected. And that is, of course, not Ray Davis. It's Sumo Kangbai. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but they pick up the first down and they just keep on churning out that game possession time. Let's see what happens. Can Kentucky continue to make this game a 3-possession game? Ray Davis, man. Ray Davis. 3 touchdowns. Oh my, Ray Davis is so dominant. Getting it done for Kentucky and single-handedly beating FSU. Oh my. I think Kentucky is going to take care of business. Ray Davis is him. I didn't know who Ray Davis is. This man is him. Look at this stiff arm. Look at this stiff arm. We'll get one more look at it. I don't know what one's doing, but look at the stiff arm. Yes, sir, Ray. Let's go. And you get the touchdown. We're going to do that, but this is going to be a YouTube video up on my channel. My YouTube is ModixHD if you guys want to go support. Jordan Travis, you gotta have a miracle here, and he's just going to throw it away. I'm assuming this is also holding. It's rough the passer, so they actually kind of get saved there. It's 1st and 10 from their own 41 now. The flag was thrown before he threw the ball. Who knows? You're too slow. Madden's scripted, if you didn't know, to try to make it close. Jordan see, like that could have been roughing the passer, but they're going to get the first down. Minute left in the national championship game. I don't think FSU can do anything, so St. Mary's can only sit there and watch as Kentucky wins the national championship. FSU's finally kind of driving, putting together somewhat of a drive, but it's just way too late. FSU is not going to take their last time out, and your champions of the 2024 March Madness tournament predicted by Madden 24 is the University of Kentucky. Kentucky over St. Mary's. But listen, guys, that is March Madness predicted by Madden 24. And if you enjoyed this video, then you're going to love this video right here.